Hey guys, it's Leonine Shift here, and today we're going to talk about a couple of mods I've done to my Yamaha FZ-07. The first of which is this guy right here, which is my power source that is fed from the electrical system of the Yamaha itself, and it's actually wired directly to the battery, and it provides me with two USB 5-volt power sources and one 12-volt one right here, as you can see. Got weatherproof little covers here, and they work pretty good. I don't test them. I keep the bike in, and I don't ride in heavy rain, but I haven't had any problems with either of them. And the routing of the power for that and the routing of the power from that. And so what you got is, what I did was I just went ahead and ran a micro USB cable up along the frame. I hope this comes through. Along this part of the frame here, zip tied it here. Okay, brought it up here, zip tied it here to these two cables, which I'm pretty sure the throttle cables, the long and the short one, that run from here up the steering column, and then to this bundle here. So I've got 3 points where that is held, okay? And the nice part about that is the last one, and you got to put enough slack in it so that it can reach this, but that last one turns with the steering wheel, okay? So the key to that is to leave enough slack between this zip tie here, and I hope you're seeing that, this one here, and this one here, for it to go full this way without striking, and fold that way. And you can see it's extended, but still has a little bit of slack left in it at a full lock right. Then I came up here, took my extra length from the USB cable, and just simply zip tied that here to the handlebar. And that works nice. And so I've got basically enough slack here to effectively plug in to my ram mount, which is mounted on the handlebars, obviously on the clutch side. And so what I do is I have this to plug in. When I don't plug in, it's a pretty simple thing to simply tie this like so and leave it there, and it's not going anywhere. So that's where it's mounted, which is right here again, right on the frame near the radiator, above where your left side stock, you have that hole here. I put OES frame sliders in there. So that worked for me just because that's where my ram mount went. Excuse me. So anyway, all right, now to get to where it's wired takes a bit of work. Okay, so let's go through that. To get to it, obviously, it's wired to the battery, and it's here. So I've took the power wiring and simply tucked it behind the frame here, zip tied it here. I think you can see that zip tie right there that's holding the power wiring. Brought it underneath this, okay, just fed it through, and I took my time. It takes a little bit of time to do it, through here, and then it comes outside here, but I just tucked it up underneath that part of the gas tank cover to here, and you can see it right there. That's the power wiring from it, okay, tucked under here. Now, I'm going to stop the tape for a minute and go get my Allen wrenches, because you need those to get this seat off. But if you don't have the right sized Allen wrenches in your tool case, you have them in your little emergency tool kit. Right. Oh no, it's on the underside, sorry. It's on the underside of the pillion. And so if you pull off your passenger seat, you'll see you've got two Allen wrenches. And this one here is the one that fits this one here. Okay, so you've got two screws that you need to take off. It's not too hard to get them off. It can be a little tricky getting them back on. Now, hopefully if you're looking at doing this mod, you're already familiar with the seat removal process. That should be pretty straightforward to you. So, anyway, but here we go. And as I'm doing this, you can see my EJK electronic jet kit that I've installed, and we're going to come back to that in a moment. That is a fuel. Basically, it controls the fueling. And if you've got a stock system, the fueling's just fine. This doesn't need anything done to it. It's actually very good, other than I find the engine braking to be a bit excessive. But if you add an aftermarket exhaust, let's just come back to that. My ADD's coming out. Okay, so here we went over how the power wiring came in. Now this is a bit of a mess because I've got several things going on here. So I'm going to try to sort of break that down. This here is the electronic jet kit wiring, okay? And this is the lead that comes from the electronic jet kit and goes to the fuel injectors, okay? I'm just trying to explain where that comes from and why it's there. This wire here that's zip tied to it is the ground from the EJK. And and then the red wire here is actually the power from what we're trying to get to, which is actually the, just stay there please, which is actually the power from my supplemental power device. So you've got this here and this here, okay, and they both come with that device. This here is important. It's a little fuse, which is why I picked this one. It sort of keeps you from damaging anything else. Because you're going directly to the battery with this, you want something with a fuse in it, okay? And so if it stops working, I know to come right here. This one actually came with a spare fuse, which is really nice. So you definitely want to hold on to that, okay? But if not, it's nothing fancy. It's a little 10 amp fuse in any case. So this is the wire coming back from the power mount, and you can see what I did was I had some slack in it, so I just simply zip tied that here, okay? Now, how did I get it back from there? I fed it up like I described, and then there's actually a way you can fish it through right here, okay? There's actually a hole above the air filter. My air filter has its snorkel removed, and that will make your job a lot easier when you're doing this. Actually, you just pull that off, okay? And you can see it's got two little nubbies here, and it's just a rubber thing, and you just shove it back on when you're done if you want to keep your snorkel in there to keep everything stock. I removed it when I added the jet kit because there's a set of settings for it with the snorkel removed. And when you remove the snorkel, you get a little more airflow, so you need to add a little more fuel. Okay, so basically, once you get this wired run back to here, which I just sort of showed you how I do it, then you just have to land both leads, positive and negative, on your battery, and you're good to go at that point. So it's a pretty simple mod, and you know, it took me I don't know, about 45 minutes. If you're struggling with routing this back here, it's not that big a deal to remove these plastics to do it at all, actually, okay? You've got this, this, and then you remove this tank protector, and there's 6 bolts under here to remove. This and this. And then there is a little, I remember right here, right up under here, there's one of those deals like you have on all fairings that's got a centerpiece that you push in. It's like a little push pin. There's actually a term for them that escapes me right now, but anyway, um, I'll post a link to the instructions for moving this because there's a pretty good written out sequence for it. So I didn't do it. You don't need to, but if you get stuck and you're having trouble routing it and you're just getting frustrated, sometimes it is easier to remove this. I had to remove it to install the EJK because the EJK, so the way I did that was I simply you get everything out of here first. I set this down in here and pay no attention to this. This is the wiring to these little flashing brake lights that I have on here that only power up. As I push the brake, they actually are LEDs that flash in addition to the brake light, which is just sort of a way to get other riders' attention. I really like that. But you have to feed the EJK through here and then up to the over the air filter. And then that actually lands up in here. And I don't know how well you can see that, but your fuel injector ports are on this side right there, right behind where the throttle cable is, and on the other side. Well, there's no way, and they basically chain onto each other. In other words, the stock one comes off, and it's got a female side that you plug the stock one into, and then that is from that you plug into. So it sort of gets in series with the fuel injector signal, and so that's that. It's that mod, because you had to remove the plastics, took a great deal of time. Not a great deal. It took a couple hours. And it took about an hour for me to get these off the first time. I was going slow, trying to be careful. I was really worried about cracking my pretty tank cover, but I got through it and no big deal. So anyway, that's the EJK and the power port installation. If you have any questions, feel free to post them, and I'll do my best to answer them. I hope this helps you. Have a great day.